Namaste, yogis. This is Adrienne with How Yoga Changed My Life, a podcast. Welcome. Today is a very special episode because I have my bestie from Chicago here, Sarah.
Hey.
Hey.
Glad to be here.
I know, I'm excited. So Sarah,
Your bestie from Chicago, and so I have to fly here.
Exactly.
That's why.
I know. But I used to be.
We'll get into
Chicago.
that later. How you ruined my life when you moved away.
We could get into that later for sure. I'll take accountability for that.
Lots of pent up resentment about that.
You're like, fuck Texas.
I know.
Yeah, I moved down here in 2020, and that was really hard to leave my bestie who lived, a half a block away?
Oh my God, yes.
It was perfect.
It was amazing.
I mean, we've talked about doing a podcast episode forever,
I
but
know.
we haven't done it.
Yeah, but I'm not a yogi, teacher or expert or something. So you kept asking me and I was a little bit nervous. And then you got busy with legit people as, your podcast grew. And so let's be honest, I'm just here because Mia's not today and you had no one else booked.
Well, Natalie and I had plans. We were going to do something.
You had big plans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, but you're here, so we ditched those for you.
Yeah, and it's actually hotter in Chicago than it is here.
Is it really?
I still am burnt. I did get a little fried
You
yesterday.
got fried yesterday.
Yeah, but it feels good.
I'm going to get a little bit of sun on you, a little bit of vitamin D.
Yeah.
All right, so Sarah, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
It's so fun to be here and see you in this element. I've obviously listened to your podcast loads of times, but it's fun to see you like this. It feels more formal. I feel more like formal than my bestie having a conversation with.
I know. It is definitely different to be in a mic, mic'd up,
yeah.
but it's fun too.
Yeah, so you know our story, but I'll tell it to our listeners out there. We met. I think we met first in a yoga class.
I think we did too. You're gonna have to dump that thing because it's every time you move, it's like use a pillow instead.
Okay. So we noticed each other from afar in the yoga studio. I don't know if this was one of the first studios you taught at.
It was.
Taught? Okay, yes.
Yeah, it was.
So I always kind of think we fell in love with yoga at the same time. We had very different paths, but kind of fell in love with it at the same time. And so I think because we both went really regularly, we kept seeing each other, but I guess didn't talk. And then I have 2 daughters and a son also. Adrienne has 2 daughters, and our youngest were in class together and became best friends. And then our other daughters became best friends and my son too. And that was it. Our just families became one.
Really close. Really
close. It was helped a lot by the fact that you lived half a block away. And that was the first time that I had one of those friends that you could just walk over, whenever you were bored, you were never alone. Whenever you didn't have anything to do, you could just hang out.
Yeah.
My kids were sick, your kids were sick.
Oh, yeah.
Pick up my husband, and that's kind of what I was meant earlier when you moved away. It was just fucking crushing for so many reasons, but that was one of them. And I don't have that person now.
Well, no, that was an incredibly unique situation because we just were able to do whatever, Brian was traveling or Richard was traveling. Then it was okay, what do you want to do for dinner? We weren't alone. It wasn't we had to do things alone. And our kids had so much fun together. And then we had so much fun together.
That was the easiest part because the kids, they had so much fun together.
It's hard to find family friends.
I know. So you always hear about these things. It's kind of like true love, right? Like true friendship. I always heard about this, people having these amazing besties. And I had always had a ton of friends. I'm super social. But then when I met you, I kind of thought, okay, I know, I get it now. A lot of those other friends, I don't know. But so that was pretty awesome for a bunch of years. And then just before COVID kicked off.
Yep.
And I also became an alcoholic and my mom got really sick and I lost my job. Then you moved away.
I know.
And it was dark days for me.
Very dark. Very dark for all of us.
So I think one of the things that kind of attracted me to you just was your excitement for yoga. And I know that sounds cheesy and Adrienne's telling me not to be so formal, but we kind of, when I said we fell in love with yoga at the same time, we remember when we just would, whenever we were hanging out, we would talk about poses, work on things in your living room or the kitchen, talk about sequences and breathing and the epiphanies we maybe had in class or something. So,
well, it was interesting because like right around that time, I was a brand new teacher. So I'm learning from a teacher perspective, and you were falling in love with yoga more from a student perspective, but wanting to learn more, right? Always having that desire to kind of improve your practice because, you know, your background was you've been athletic your whole life, you know?
Yeah. I think when I first got into yoga or heard about yoga, I'm 46. So, oh my God, when I was 20, that was 20 something years ago already.
Yeah.
I heard about yoga and tried a class, and I just graduated college and I had moved downtown Chicago, and I looked up some class in the city. It was in one of some fancy class in a building downtown. And I had no idea what I was doing. I don't even know what kind of class it was. And I kind of remember, this was okay. And I never went back for years.
Right.
And then one of my friends at the time was a teacher at a studio, and she invited me to come do sculpt. And that was my first class at the studio I ended up joining. And I hate sculpt. That's a conversation for another time, but you know that. And I hated it. I was like, this is so fucking hard. Why am I doing this voluntarily?
I know.
But then I started doing just more vinyasa classes, which are my jam, different like flow classes.
Yeah, you're definitely a flow vinyasa kind of student. You like it to be flowy. You like it to be big movements. You like it to be stretchy.
Yes,
and
reaching,
challenging,
lengthening. And then so I went to that class and then didn't go back until I was pregnant, and I did a prenatal because it sounded like a nice thing to do, like when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And then I kind of piqued my interest more. And I don't know what happened that one time, but then I just started going back. I think the tough thing about yoga and people like me who started doing it just for the pure athletic part of it, right? I wasn't interested in all that granola shit, the breathing, that was something different.
No, you never even stayed for Shavasana.
No, for years I never stayed for Shavasana. Well, a lot of that too is because I can't fucking sit still to save my life. So I kind of, as soon as I can go, I go. But, so what was I saying?
So you went to classes and then you kind of walked away from it.
Yeah, no. And then I came back and just kind of fell in love with it. And then after, that's when I was starting. People like me who can't sit still and stuff, everybody really. You get frustrated or you quit things when you don't see results like that week or the next week.
Yeah.
And, to be honest, yoga takes some time to get into your body. And if you stick with it, then I don't know, I saw amazing results. A couple years, but just the way my muscles lengthened and the stretching and, it was subtle changes, but then, so that kind of satisfied my physical needs from yoga.
Yeah. And
then and I was very much I want to be the best one in the class. I'm going to hold that the longest.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the deepest. That was me.
And you were that student.
Yeah, for a couple of years. And, I'm proud of this whole journey. I think you had to kind of, well, at least that was my journey. And then after that, I kind of got over that and our relationship started growing. I think I just learned so much more about it. And still to this day, I take or leave some of that stuff depending on how I feel.
Absolutely, as you should. It's like, it's a practice. It's not about being perfect, right? That was a big leap for you too, because you were the one in class that was like, I'm going to do the handstand. I'm
probably still perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the fucking handstand. It's been 15 years. One day.
How are you doing with it?
Well, I'm closer on forearm stand than handstand because forearm stand, you just have more real estate on the ground. So it's a little bit easier to balance.
Interesting.
Yeah. But do you remember this? Okay. The old, our old studio, they're one of the first managers there. I don't know, tall. She was blonde. Maybe she ended up moving to open another studio, but I vividly remember my first yoga epiphany when it happened in a class. I was maybe a couple years in. We were doing a C2, some kind of flow class.
Right.
And the whole class was moving in sync for the most part. Some people are always off, which is fine. But I love it when the class is kind of moving together.
Yes.
And we were moving together, and we were syncing up our inhales and our exhales to obviously the poses, but then the music kind of synced up to everything so nicely. Mm-hmm. And it was this magical feeling of like moving this way, moving that way as you breathe, and then the rhythm and the beat of the music.
Yep.
And it was the first time I said, oh, now I get what they're talking about with the breathing.
Yeah.
Because for years, you're just trying to get the pose right and remember the name, remember your side. You just don't think about any of that other stuff.
Right. No, for sure.
But then I was like, oh my God, I totally get how breathing is an integral part of this.
Yeah. But it takes forever because when you're a person that is not used to paying attention to your breath, it's an automatic thing that happens. And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, you have to pay attention to breathing. Most people can do it for like 3 to 5 breaths, and then they lose it, and then they're like, "Wait, where was I? How do I get back?"
That's why I like it when you guys cue us to remember to breathe again.
Yeah, it's important. Well, and what you said too about like the flow piece of it, like that brought back a memory of when I was teaching in Chicago, and I was in the newer space that we were in the lower studio, and the music wasn't working. And I had to teach a whole class with no music. And
I might have been in that one.
I think you might have been.
I think
it was really crowded.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we're just going to have to do this. And I don't even think I mentioned that the music wasn't working. We just started breathing and moving. And then by the end of class, I said something like, even though we didn't have music today, we still had that rhythm. We still had that flow. And I remember a couple of students coming out being like, I didn't even notice there was no music.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it
was crazy.
The breathing, I think, I wasn't focused on my breath when I started doing it and realized the benefits of it. I breathe. I'm a loud breather because I kind of breathe on purpose. You know?
Yeah.
Is that annoying? Because I get inspired when I hear someone breathing because it reminds me. But I also am like, shit, am I being too loud? Because I'm,
No,
am I
I'm a
bugging
noisy
somebody
breather.
next to me? Okay.
No, I'm a total noisy breather.
I don't think so. I've never noticed your breathing.
Oh, I'm a big noisy breather. Most of the time, I feel like as a teacher, I like it when students are noisy breathing because then I know that they're focused, right? I know that they're paying attention to their breath. I know that they're setting the rhythm for their practice, right? And like for me, when I was taught yoga, it was you want the breath to be the metronome. It's the timekeeper, or it's the underlying foundation of class is this up and down movement of your breath. And that to me is one of the most beautiful things when you can get a room full of 40, 50 people to breathe and move at the same rate.
I know. I just said that actually.
Yeah. We were talking about that yesterday.
And 2 minutes ago.
I know. But yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
I know.
No, I'm kidding. That was bitchy. Sorry.
No, you can be bitchy. It's okay.
I know.
We're a bitchy podcast sometimes too. We're also a loving podcast. We can be it all.
Yeah. So you know this about me, but I do this thing that I enjoy where every year I make my yoga resolution. And for me, it's usually a pose or something I want to focus on for that year.
Yep.
And I'm like everybody else. I forget all this shit all the time. I'm not religious about this. I want to be, but
right.
It's a really good reminder for me because normally at the beginning of the class, I'll remember the thing that I'm working on. And I do think about it through class. And for that whole year, it really makes a difference. And well, one year I did forearm stand and I still can't do that. So, but
you practiced on it.
But 1 year I was just going to focus on my breathing. And that was all I did a whole year. And it helped, I don't know, just me doing the timing and stuff.
Yeah. It helps regulate your nervous system.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm like a crackhead anxiety, ADHD person.
Yeah.
That was one thing my husband noticed after I started doing yoga. I definitely wasn't chill by any means, but I was a little more chill.
Yeah.
I think it's more the breathing than the yoga. It's literally if you go to a class and breathe for an hour.
Yep. And that's all you do.
Yeah.
Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, you don't have to do anything in this class. You can literally just sit here and breathe.
Yeah.
You can take a nap. Like it doesn't matter to me as long as you're breathing and you're consciously breathing. You're doing yoga. That's it. It's important. So we met in Chicago and our whole families fell in love.
Oh, yeah.
And we practiced yoga together. And I mean, what kind of insights could you see for me being a new teacher and how I was handling kind of my growth and, the the stickiness of learning how to teach, and the a lot of the numbers piece of it, and trying to not try to be like popular teacher, but be like a good teacher. Did you ever see any of my struggles through that?
Not really. I didn't see you struggle through it. You flourished through it. And honestly, I mean, you had already started teaching by the time we first met. So I think because of that, even though you were a new teacher, you always have just been a teacher in my mind. So I don't know. I mean, I think one of my favorite parts about your skill set is just your awareness of the body stuff. Like Adrienne is always a person that I call when my back hurts or this part of my right shoulder hurts. Well, how did you do it? Okay, what are you doing? Lay like this and move it this way and do this and do that. And you're right, like 100% of the time.
Oh my gosh. That's one of my favorite things to do, but it's also like the scariest thing to do because it's like,
yeah, I know. You wouldn't do it with you do it with me, but yeah.
I do it with a lot of my clients too. Like I've had lots of clients come in and they're like, my shoulder hurts. And I'm like, okay, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and a lot of it is just awareness, right? Is learning about what they're doing and what they shouldn't be doing, or like, well, if it hurts when I do this, then don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Or if it hurts when you do that, then figure out a different position to put your shoulder in so it doesn't hurt,
Yeah. And I think the hard thing with yoga is the cueing, which is so key to me. I mean, it took me a while to learn how to listen to cues, and still, 20 years in, I will get something. I just got like kind of side angle poke, like for the first time, the way my hips were aligned just like a year ago. And I was like, I just had another one.
I remember how much I would get so frustrated with you because you would take my class all the time. And then you came in one day and you're like, oh my God, someone in class, one of the teachers said, look forward in crow pose. And I was able to get it. I was like, dude, I've been saying that to you for fucking years, but you never heard it.
That's so true in life, right?
Yeah,
like you don't hear something until you're ready to hear it.
Exactly. So let's talk about cueing, because that's actually kind of interesting to me. I want to know from your perspective, what are some of the most confusing cues you've heard in a class?
Oh boy, I should have started this podcast by saying that I'm like a goldfish and I can't remember anything these days. I know.
That's true.
I mean, it was already bad, but then the perimenopause has like jacked it up into a whole nother echelon.
Yes.
So when I forget what I'm talking about in the middle of it, that's why. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
So, like right now, what did you just ask me?
So, what is the most confusing cue you've ever heard in class?
Cueing is complicated, and as a student, it takes you, like I just said, a couple years to get to the point where you even hear them.
Yeah.
But it's the best thing that you can do. I think it's kind of because it helps you with just little tips and tricks for that pose. But what makes a teacher great is because everybody's anatomy is so different. Yeah. The way that my hips are aligned looks different than the way my neighbor's hips are aligned. But, you always were able to be like, Sarah, move your left hip just this way, that way, that way. And I always felt like a transformer, I liken it to, like when your body parts go, and then you're in the right spot and you're like, okay, I got it. Like that transformer, when I can click in, it's like a click and my body feels now I'm aligned. When that took years to develop, but I love that now. I take, my kids have gone to yoga with me a bunch. My son went, and the first time he went, he did a great job, really did it earnestly, but he has no awareness of his body. Kids don't. Some people don't.
Most people don't.
It's because yoga helps with that, obviously. Yeah. But, and I just looked at him and he looked like a doll, like everything was flailing around. His arms were up and he's like, does this look right? And I thought, wow. No,
but not even close.
I know, not even close. But so I kind of love that now in the posture that it helps. And but I think I don't really get confused with cueing. I love cueing, and I love kind of personalized. I do just notice, and this is not with you specifically. This is one of my pet peeve things. Is that no,
I like not. Pet peeves.
Is that often teachers, they always start with their left or right side, and I do know there's a reason for that. But the right side or the second side usually doesn't get enough time, and I feel like why don't we just flip the script and start on our left side for this month so that it gets
even. Yeah, that's a really good point because that's a big deal with teachers when they're first learning. It's like they always hold longer on the right, and then not always, but in generalized terms, the right side is where you're trying to set the pose up. And then the left side, you're like, oh, what do I say now? Right. So there's sometimes teachers don't take enough time to say, okay.
Oh, I see it. Like they blow their load on the first side. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. And then they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now what do I say? Right. So it's like, that's why I tell new teachers, like have 3 to 5, 6 cues from the ground up. So like look at the body in 3 parts, right? The feet, the middle, and the upper, right? And so if you think about what's on the ground first and what do they need to establish as a strong foundation, right? So you give them 1 cue for that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And cueing for me is a really big deal because I believe in being clear and concise, non-judgmental, direct with action. So it's not about being flowery. It's not about trying to like have imagery as much as it's about just getting them to not think as much and get into their body and move with their breath, right? So it's like there's no judgment. Because I know with me, when I take a class, if I hear a teacher, trying to describe where they want me to go instead of direct me to where I need to go, the description of it is like I start getting in my head.
You do like, okay, put your arm here. Now do this that way. Now do
Yep. And that drives me crazy. It's like just say the breath and the pose name. If I don't know the pose in my body, everyone around me is going to move into that shape, and then I will start to move into that shape. Then once I start to move to that shape, you give me 3 cues from the ground up, and then I'm able to listen to you. It's a formula, right? It's not this like confusing way of trying to like hold them back from getting into the posture or, make them slow down.
So I really focus on cueing now because like you, the teacher sees something different every time.
Yeah.
So I kind of hate it when there are those scripted cues that you say always when a teacher kind of maybe switches it up for this class or
like when they say like inhale mountain pose and everyone has their arms up over their head and they're like, reach your arms up. It's like, dude, my arms are already fucking up. Why are you saying that? Because you're nervous and you're not paying attention.
Yeah. And some of the cues I've focused on, it's probably just me focusing on it more, or it was the last thing I paid attention to is, and I love it how you do this with your cues. You say a lot about where to push. Like, so it's not just the position your leg is in. It's like you should be bearing weight on this part of, because that's something, another epiphany this year. Like, oh shit, if you listen to the cues and you put your feet and press where you're supposed to, the poses are so much easier.
So much easier.
I had that with plank too. But if you're in warrior 2 and half of the pose is in your legs and your feet, and I missed that for like 15 years.
Absolutely.
And then as soon as you like push, and so that's my this year resolution is to focus on my balance in my feet.
I love
and all the poses.
Yeah. Building a strong foundation.
So cues like that are important.
I love those cues. I love those cues in the sense of like giving you an aha moment on your mat. Like when I look at people come up from like a low lunge to a high crescent lunge, right? Just a high lunge. One foot is in front of the other in a split stance. You got your front knee bent and your back heels lifted. So you're kind of in this high crescent lunge. And when you say to someone like push down into your big toes and try to rip the mat apart, that action is, helps to align your hips. It helps to energize your legs and lift you up off the ground a little bit, but you still feel really anchored. And so it's like being direct with cues is probably the most important thing in my mind a yoga teacher can do. When teachers use filler words, when teachers are inging their way through, lengthening the arms.
And you breathe while we.
Yeah. I mean, like it's not. It's like, and then.
But you know what? And I'm not trying to get all granola. There's probably somebody out there who that's their favorite fucking way to do yoga.
Yeah. Well, then they cannot be in my class because I'm not going to be a flowery piece of shit. I'm going to tell you and direct your action in your body.
Yeah, but you're acting like you're this big, like hard ass. That's. I mean, no, you're no, and you're very. Well, that's the thing. Everybody loves your classes. You're everybody's favorite.
No,
teacher.
definitely not. There's lots of people that don't like my classes and come. I mean, I've had women come to my class or men come to my class. I had one woman come to my class one time in Chicago and we were doing like a restorative class and I handed this woman a yoga block to put underneath of her head just because she looked uncomfortable. And I'm like, hey, just rest your forehead on this block and then that way your neck won't hurt tomorrow, And she didn't even look at me. She looked at the block. She picked it up and she chucked it across the room.
No way.
She did. I swear to God.
Why are people bitchy like that?
I don't know.
I get being annoyed, and that would annoy me, but I would love that. But I get being, oh God, why is she talking to me? But why would you ever outwardly like
throw the block?
Well, just people need to be kind and nice.
I know. But you know what, too? When you look in around the room and you're looking at students from a perspective, it's almost like you could put cartoon bubbles, like the thought bubbles above each student's head.
Yeah.
And be like, what are they thinking about? Right.
That's a good book idea.
Oh, yeah.
That would be funny, like to do a book like that and just do the bubbles.
That'd be funny. Because it's so funny what you see. Like there is someone who, like this happens a lot, right? Like we put towels on people's foreheads at the end of class, right? And
love that.
Yeah. So funny because sometimes you'll walk up and you'll startle someone.
The first time that happened to me, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, this is nice.
This is nice. Yeah. I know. And it's like some people's favorite part of class. And there's like a technique to it, in my opinion, of like how you lay the towel.
That's appreciated, by the way. Like I've noticed things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. You have a good, how much pressure, how quiet. Yeah. I love that.
Like it's like a small
They
little.
don't do that at home anymore.
They don't do the towels anymore. Well, we do the towels. And like when I do the towels, I like to hold it like it's a kind of like a little hand towel, right? So you kind of fold it up like a towel that you would hang up in your bathroom sink area, but maybe a little bit smaller.
Like a washcloth.
Like a washcloth. Yeah, exactly. And so like you take it and like fold it lengthwise so it's nice and long so it can go over someone's eyes. But I'm really careful because I don't like when somebody smushes it on my forehead. If you have fake lashes, I don't want to push it down on your fake lashes. If you're wearing glasses, I usually remove your glasses and then I lay it and I start like in the center of your forehead and I start with holding it evenly and just trying to kind of lay it across your forehead.
Right.
And then I just touch your third eye in the crown of your head. And
I like the third eye touching.
Yeah. But I don't like smush my hand in. It's like a little.
You're kind of a smusher.
I'm not a smusher. Am I a smusher for real?
No, I don't remember any of this.
Okay.
And it's kind of a boring story. I'm like zoning out.
Okay, fine. I'll stop talking about the fucking washcloths. But it is cool to do that kind of thing. And like, I always say something nice about that person in my head. So I'll be like, you did a great job today. You know, or I know you're having a hard week, so get through it.
And I love that means a lot when a teacher will say something to you after class because they've noticed maybe you've been working on something and they'll say they noticed it or said you're getting better at this or something. You're kind of like, someone,
But it's hard because not a lot of teachers are paying attention.
I know.
You know, because it's a hard job to do. You know, you want to have a great sequence. You want to have a great playlist. You want people to feel good and feel successful. And, you know, you want them to leave feeling better than the way they did. But if you put too much effort into what you're doing, it takes away from the overall experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that, and I just thought of this, and I don't want this to sound too out there or flowery, like you said, but I think another thing that yoga has helped me with is just kind of chilling out about things and more in more of a spiritual way, meaning like it's stuff is not that big of a deal. Like, you know, and I think you could get this from any community kind of regular gathering is just, even though you don't know these people and you might not ever see them, you're doing something with this group together. And it's that togetherness that makes it feel good.
Yeah.
And just kind of, so going back to what I was saying, it's kind of those unconscious reminders, subconscious of like the things you talk about in yoga and the principles of that. It really does rub off on shit. Sometimes you're like, you know what, that's not a big deal. Why am I going to get worked up about that?
Right.
Or maybe I'm just getting older because I'm all like, let's all love each other these days.
Well, let's go back to talk for a second because this brings up a really good point about how when you first started taking my classes, you would always leave early.
I would always skip Shavasana.
Always skip Shavasana. And I don't know how many years it took me to finally get you to stay. But do you remember when you first stayed? Mm-hmm. Tell me about it.
No, not really. I don't remember when I first stayed. I think what I was just saying about teaches you to chill out, I think that kind of helped because it was like I was in a rush or I thought I was in a rush. I always get the urge to go somewhere, leave, like go on to the next thing. So mostly it was like, I don't feel like waiting around and laying here for 5 minutes when I could get a jump on the shower or get out of here.
Right.
And plus that's not doing anything to my physical body goals that I had, you know,
right.
we're just,
how you were so fucking wrong.
I know. But so no, I love Shavasana now. Well, I mentioned this earlier. I'm an alcoholic and I'm in the AA program. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is practice meditation a little bit more, just being thoughtful about things you want to do or achieve or accomplish. It's like practice makes perfect. If I say that I want to work on this, you can do that. And that holds true for your thought patterns and everything too.
Wait, so talk a little bit about your meditation. So what kind of meditation have you been doing?
Oh, let me finish my point real quick. So that's why I started using Shavasana as kind of my meditation at now time too.
Good.
I like Shavasana now. It just what sticks with me is you guys always say, leave everything else outside the door in 5 minutes, it's going to be there. And I just remember that and think, Sarah, this might be your only 5 minutes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It could be your only 5 minutes of the entire day that you're quiet and still. And if you think about the balance between effort and ease, if you're constantly moving and the only time that you're still is when you're sleeping, that's not a really good balance of ease and effort in your life, right? Like being able to sit quietly for 5 minutes without moving.
I could never do it.
You could do it.
We should try that later on today.
All right.
Remember when you made me do a stand and forward fold for half an hour in the kitchen?
Oh, yes. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. I can make you do some really cool shit. But those kind of things are good practices when you've got a busy mind. You've got a disease, you've got alcoholism, and that's something that you've been struggling or suffering or working through. I would say, I do have to say how fucking proud I am of you for your journey with alcoholism.
Well, the journey's just begun.
Yeah, but how long have you been sober?
Over a year, maybe 14 months.
Yeah. Started in right around May of 2024.
And I love some of your AA or sobriety meditation stuff. I listened to one the other day on your podcast, on this podcast. Yeah.
Oh,
there's a lot of common threads between yoga and being an alcoholic.
It's true.
Yes, it kind of aligns pretty well, and just in terms of thought processes and things like that.
When you were in rehab, I think I've said this before on the podcast about how you were in rehab for that month. And
remember, Adrienne would be our virtual yoga teacher. We would call her in on FaceTime or Zoom, and she would teach me and a bunch of peeps every morning. It was amazing. And you did it after they left.
I did
I left, excuse me.
I did it for 7 months.
And I was only there for 1 month.
Yeah. I was like the yoga teacher chain letter.
What? Oh my God. Yeah, you were. I was like, who? And then at the end you said, I'm working with somebody named Pete now. I'm like, you don't even know Pete. He wasn't there.
He wasn't there when you were there.
Yes.
No. And that's what's so crazy is that it was literally anytime, when you left, you passed my number to someone else, and then they left and passed my number to someone else. And then eventually it got lost.
Yeah.
But I loved it because it was Wednesday nights at 7 or 8 o'clock. I think it was 8 o'clock at night. And I would do a meditation, a nidra. And it was it meant the world to me. I was my favorite hour of the week. I loved it.
You mentioned that before. And I kind of thought, she's just saying that. That's interesting.
No,
so why is it? Because we were
total strangers, total strangers. And it was the way that they were so open and honest and would say wow, that was, that felt great. Or I really struggled settling in today, or just kind of just the conversations around, they wouldn't share too much because we didn't have a whole lot of time. But, hey, we just got out of a Dharma talk and it was rough.
Yeah.
We're having a hard day, or today was a really hard day for me. And I'd be like, all right, just the fact that I got to give something to strangers that I didn't know. And that if I could, that whole idea of the ripple effect or having a little impact on one person's life in a positive way, right?
Yes. Like what I was saying last night about how you never know how you might, something you do. That was somebody's first yoga class they ever took, you know? I remember the first one I ever took.
Yeah.
And I love taking new yoga teacher classes. If they're nervous and it's their first time, I'm like, I got you. I love it.
Impressive because most people don't like taking those classes.
Well, I think it's the community part of it. To see you're involved, it sounds so cheesy, but just in somebody else's story,
Right,
and so cool seeing some people grow as teachers, and because I know I'm going to be around in the next 20 years, probably at the same studio. So it's so interesting watching people's journeys.
Yeah.
But I was chairing an AA meeting actually, and last week this guy came up to me and said, "You chaired the very first AA meeting I ever went to." which was in the last 6 months or something. Because
so cool.
But it really touched me because I thought, wow, it just made me reminded of how the impacts that you have on other people's lives without you knowing
exactly
about it at all.
Well, and that to me is like our responsibility to be open, like be sure that you're coming from a place that's genuine, a place that's it's not about me. Like when I walk into the studio, it's not about the sequence that I put together. It's not about the playlist I put together. It's about the people that show up in the room and what we can do together through breath, through movement, and through silence. It's like those are the ways that for me, yoga is about community. It is about union of breath, body, spirit, but also others, right? Other energies.
So, yeah.
And I feel like sometimes that gets lost. A lot of teachers are like wanting to be the popular teacher, wanting to be the one that is filled with the class, and that just to me, it's like whether there's one person or 100 people in the room, it's my responsibility to hold space so that others can alleviate their suffering.
Can we talk about what the fuck holding space means?
Oh my God, yes.
It's just everybody says holding space. And I think I know what it means, but it just sounds kind of, what's the word? Hoity-toity. Yeah. I'm holding space for you. Like, fuck you. What does that mean?
Yeah. Holding space, in my opinion, just means that like
and making yourself available.
Yeah. It's like I'm showing up with basically like, here's a container. It's this yoga studio. It's your yoga mat, right? This is your area. And I am just here as like a tour guide, right? I'm here to help you navigate with showing what I can see in your body, how I can help direct energy in your body and direct action in your body. But it's not about me. It's a co-created experience. Right. And that's where I think holding space can sound really hoity-toity because it's not about me just holding space. It's about us creating this container, this space together.
I just think it's become one of those overused phrases that just, I don't know.
Well, it's like that and like finding your true self. Authentic self.
I'm trying to find my authentic self.
I know. But I think that it's more about you're just trying to weed through the bullshit.
Or it's not necessarily bullshit. It's just shit.
Well, shit. That's true.
Stuff.
But it's stuff that we hold on to, right? It's stuff that we get stuck into. And then it's stuff that we don't know how. Like we watched that show the other day with Chris Helmsworth about, the brain and pain and holding on to things.
That's a great show. If you guys haven't seen that show, it's called
Limitless.
Limitless on, is it Netflix?
Nat Geo Limitless.
Mm-hmm. He just explores a different topic every episode, but it's pretty cool. And he's so handsome.
He's so handsome.
And just such a cool guy. But check it out.
I loved what was really cool is we watched that episode on pain, and he had the expert was Dr. BJ Miller, who's like, I think hung the moon. He's an amazing palliative care doctor. He's been on Tim Ferriss's episodes of his podcast. I shared it with you. He started Zen Hospice Center in San Francisco. He is just like an amazing doctor, and I've read his book. I sent you his book. But like learning about how the patterns that our brain takes, right? And how, what did you say? Like pain, it's like if you have pain in your finger and you have constant pain or chronic pain in your finger, after a while, your brain would send a signal down and be like...
usually your brain will like check, how am I feeling? And it'll like send us a little signal down to your finger, and your finger says, oh, I'm feeling pain. And that goes back up to your brain and says, she's feeling pain. So that signal sends that pain message. But your body is smart. And after a while, if it's been doing that same journey to check on that same finger, it just skips making the trip to check because it just goes directly to the result faster.
Yeah.
So your brain may be telling you a number of things, not just pain, but that something's happening that's not really happening anymore.
Right.
It's actually kind of fucking scary.
It is scary.
Because when you think about, the other thing about how you can't actually see your nose is in your line of sight of your eyes. Mm-hmm. Like your eyes can see, but your brain, apparently, I heard this on some legit source, and your daughter verified it yesterday. But that your brain actively filters out the view of your own nose because it doesn't want to see it, but it's in its line of sight. Isn't that weird?
Even what we were talking about yesterday about the brain, it's like we only know what 20% of our brain, and 80% is still just gray matter. Mm-hmm. And kind of where we can go with our brain power and how we can like really. I think that what I love about yoga is that it gets rid of kind of the exterior world and has you get inside in the interior of your own body.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of class, you do Shavasana and everyone's like, clear your mind, let all the thoughts go. And meditation is very topical today. So we all know that your thoughts come in and just notice and push them back out again. Mm-hmm. In my 17 years of yoga, I have emptied my mind exactly one time.
Yeah.
I think you were there because I told you, oh my God, it happened.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even realize it and I wasn't sleeping. And I was like, that's what they're talking about. How many times had that actually happened to you where you can clear your mind?
So there is, in my opinion, there is no way that you can completely clear your mind. What it is, it's avoiding the distractions of the thoughts and the feelings and the, so what I talk about or what I think about.
Whatever the call it, yeah.
Yeah. So what I think about is it's the ability to almost, if like when I'm in Shavasana, sometimes I'll lay back and I'll imagine that I'm outside and the sun is out, but it's not like in my face, it's just warming my body a little bit. And then my thoughts that enter will be clouds, right? And they're just big, white, puffy clouds. And I just watch those go by. So it's not attaching to like drill down into a thought or a sensation or a feeling. It's more about just watching the rhythm of your mind and your body, right? So it's not about, you can't clear your mind.
Well, I know. I
guess
I
move into a different brainwave state.
Maybe, whatever we're calling it, it's like the end goal. And I think
a drop in is what people call it, right?
And mine was probably 1 minute. I don't know. But all I know is I could feel it consciously and after the fact. But and it was a great place to be, but I can see how it's a fucking practice to get there.
It is.
And when we were talking about those dimensions, like what if like subconscious, like communication, the whole telepathy tapes thing.
Yeah. If you guys haven't listened to Telepathy Tapes, it's a wonderful podcast about kids with autism and their abilities outside of the normal communication lines of work and, being with others. It's a wonderful, wonderful podcast. But that to me really does show how much, we don't know about energy and what happens. We just know that energy is transforming constantly and never dies, So
yeah,
we kind of went off total topics.
Oh, I know. So
but that's okay.
I was gonna. Oh, hold on.
I was going to see if there was a question.
There was a question that I was going to ask you. I was trying to look for it. I'm making too much noise.
No, you can make noise. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So, we're humans. Okay. Right? So we're going to make noises. Just stop like kicking the fucking table. That's it.
Oh my God. I know then I have to have the table here because the mic
I know the mic is there. Thank God you don't have to hold the mic. You would be a total shit show.
At my last job, I got, my boss called me after and said, you've got to stop. Is it possible for you to sit still when you're presenting something? And I was like, I don't know.
It is possible for you to do it.
It is, but that's I have tape around me now, like Post-its that say "slow down, don't interrupt." I'm
the same way though. We get excited about things and we just kind of go, right? We're passionate people.
Me and Adrienne are going to retire together.
Yeah, we are.
I can't wait.
I know. We got to get it like a cool.
Tiny home.
Yeah, tiny homes. Where are we going to be? Are we going to be on the water?
Wherever most of our kids are in the general area.
Yeah,
I don't care. I kind of picture us being out in like the desert, like in Marfa, Texas.
I need water though, or like something.
Oh yeah,
we could just be like near the beach or near a body of water.
Okay, so what's one of your? I know what you're gonna say. What's one of your biggest yoga pet peeves when a student does something in class? And don't say nothing. Just
I do. No, I've got a bunch. So pet peeves of students in class. Well, it's really hard because it's not the student's fault. But my pet peeve is when I see a student in a posture and I know that I can help their alignment so that they actually are in the posture, like, the transformer thing, right? And when I make the transformer cue for them, or I go over and I try to give them the transformer cue and they completely miss it. I know it's not their fault. They're not listening, right? They're not ready.
They're trying to listen, but they're just not ready.
Yeah. And people are so disembodied. They're not in their bodies, right? So it's like as soon as I give a cue, sometimes they're like, wait, what was that? Did she say right or left? And then they doubt themselves, right? And it's not about doubting yourself. It's like, just listen to what I say. Reach your arms up, right? I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying reaching the fingers through the ceiling as if you're going to touch
put your arms up
clouds.
there.
Yeah, it's like I want it to be, and I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Like I can't stand when teachers say like, see if you can try. Maybe you can do this.
Yeah,
it's
those
like
probably
fuck you.
they're probably unconsciously doing that, but yeah.
Yeah, and I can't stand that. For me, it's like, no, you can do this. I don't see a broken body in front of me. I see a whole body in front of me, and I see a body that all I need to do is give them a couple of little things that can adapt their practice and have fun, right?
But see, that's why I would be a horrible yoga teacher, because so many of these things that I've learned as a student took years to get there, that it's like if a student can't hear or isn't doing the cue right or something, just because, like you said, they're not ready or they don't have the knowledge in their head enough to do it. That, I mean, and me included, that took me just last week. I had another one about something else, but I would get frustrated as a teacher and be like, I'm doing it right. Whereas you were like, I'm going to give you the space to, give you the space to take 2 years to learn that until you get it.
Well, like we talked about the other day, I had a student in class that we were doing a sculpting class. It was yoga with light weights, and we were squatting. And I look over the corner of my eye, and this girl is doing her squats like so wrong. But she was brand new, first time in my class. I'm not going to go over to her and be like, you're doing it wrong.
Well, yeah,
right?
You wouldn't say that anyway.
No,
but
yeah. And I wouldn't go over and give her a big assist, because she could have been doing squats that way her whole life and thinking her squats are badass. And then if I go over and I try to fix her squats,
that is such a good point.
It could fuck her up, right? It could make her doubt a lot of things. I mean, that's a little extreme.
I don't think most teachers think about these kinds of things, but yeah.
I mean, I just like to really be engaged in the practice of watching bodies to help understand like how bodies move, right? And how somebody's, there's so many interesting pieces and parts to a body, like especially teaching private Pilates sessions too. Like I have a client that her, right tibia is got such a curve in it, the way that it grew, it's like turned, that it kind of turns out and then comes back in. So she could never put her two calves together. Her two calf muscles in the center would never meet with her legs together because her bone is pulling her leg out. And so when you see those kind of things, then it's like, well, how do I make her feel comfortable in standing in that high lunge example again, if her bone is, what was the word I'm looking for? Torsioning or bending or growing out to the side, right? Or moving out to the sides. Like she might not feel it. She's going to roll out into her ankle more or hurt the edge of her pinky toe. So how do I get her to push into more of her big toe, right? To move the energy, right? So it's just those kind of like little pieces and parts that I find really rewarding about the practice. But I also have a lot of empathy and understanding for how you as a teacher should insert yourself in their practice, and especially like teaching where I do now, where there's a lot of free flow. There's a lot of free flow moments.
You mean not totally guided every breath? Oh,
right. Like you experienced it yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, not a fan.
Yeah.
Well, it was the teacher would give you, and she was a wonderful teacher. It wasn't her. The teacher would tell you 8 poses, and then you'd walk through them together once on each side, and then she'd just say, "Okay, now go free play." Kind of like you have 5 minutes now to do that on your own. Well, to me, it just lost the synchronization of the class, which is a really powerful part of that community. From me, it's like moving together, and no one's ever always in sync, but it's the basic gist of that. And then when you layer the breathing on, I felt like everyone was all over the board doing their own thing. So I'll quit sooner than I should. I don't do all the reps of everything. That's why I like being guided. But also, I don't know, it just missed that big
community.
Yeah, just like we're all in this together, keep going. Other people who are introverted might have loved that.
Yeah, I mean,
class,
I don't know.
But
I find it interesting because it's like the memorization of what I don't like is I don't like teachers to poke, right? And I do feel like...
What do you mean?
Okay, so like say, for example, I'm trying to... Okay, so I put on a 6-minute long song and I give you 15 poses and I flow through those poses with you one time. And then I say, now do them all on your own, right? and you're like, I can't remember.
Right.
So then you get stuck, right? And then you're standing on your mat and you're looking around the room and everyone else is moving and you're like, what the fuck do I do? And to me, it's like that pokes at people. That makes people feel like they haven't achieved something, right? Now, maybe that person, and I know the point of it is, I understand the why behind it.
Wait, how did the teacher say something?
So like, they won't, like if the teacher comes up and gives you like a bunch of poses to do, right?
Yeah.
And then you say like, go on your own and do these poses. And then that person's like, well, I don't remember, right? Like I can't remember what those poses were, or they start to get up in their head, right? And to me, that is not what yoga is about. Yoga is about controlling the fluctuations of your mind. But as a teacher, it's not my job to manufacture an experience that's going to poke at you.
All right.
I should be there, going back to that idea of co-creating an experience where together you feel better than when you came in.
Right.
And what I've noticed is that a lot of students, when they come to classes where there's flow on their own and they're brand new, that's intimidating. That makes them feel weak. That makes them feel dumb. And then they don't want to come back to class.
Yeah, they don't feel like they got a good workout because they didn't do half of it when they were trying to.
They didn't know. They don't know.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of yoga, and the fact is that everybody thinks different things about yoga. You know, I have a bug up my ass about real yoga. What's real yoga? Whatever, that's another topic. But and everybody likes to flow differently. Everybody's personalities and teachers types. It's like, so you're just lucky if you find a place where all those things can align. Because there's not going to ever be one right way. There'll be my preferred way.
Thank you for saying that. There is no one way of doing yoga.
Oh, and you know what? I thought there was for years.
Yeah.
And my wisdom came with age.
Yeah. Yeah. But even just like going out and trying different things. Like what I tell people a lot is when it comes to yoga, if you go to a class and you didn't like it, that doesn't mean that there's not another yoga class at that space or another teacher at that space or the studio down the street that you shouldn't try. But wherever you can, try a yoga class. Try something, try something that's going to put you a little bit out of your comfort zone. If you're not a yogi, try a yoga with weights class. Try something that is kind of a hybrid or a fusion that's going to kind of bring you in gently, right? I mean, I remember some of the yoga classes I've taken over the years where I'm like, holy shit, we've been in this arrival, setup for 15 minutes of class. We haven't even stood up yet. Like, what the fuck? Like, I want to move. I want to breathe, I want big dynamic movements. And this bitch has us sitting in, these stupid little poses for 15 minutes. And I find myself getting annoyed. And then I go, well, that's part of the practice.
Yeah.
Right? It's being with the fact that I'm annoyed that we're not up off the floor yet. I want to move. So how do I make it so that I can enjoy the moment I'm in? And so with unguided flowing classes, I guess that is the point of it. Like, how am I going to be okay with it? But I just feel like that's not up to me to poke at you.
No, I agree.
I want people to feel comfortable.
My ideal, and if I ever opened a yoga studio, which I never would, I don't want to be a yoga teacher. I just want to be a student. But I would call it sound yoga. And I would kind of create it so that obviously like the synchronicity is a big part of the movement of class and the breathing and the cueing, but then also the music, having like the beat. Because when all the beat can marry up with your breath. Yeah. It just adds to that whole experience.
It does.
So I would, make sure all the playlists were timed with whatever you were trying to do, but called sound yoga. That would be my perfect studio.
But. Oh my gosh, that's like one of my favorite things to do when I teach yoga with weights is that I time my sequence to the beat of the music.
Oh my God. You guys, this girl spends like 45 minutes every day coming up with music for every sequence every time. Even if she's doing the same movements, she'll come up with a new playlist.
Because
that's your meditation time, I think.
I think it is. It is my meditation.
You get up at like 4 a.m. to do that.
Yeah, I do. I wake up super early. I get to the studios, that I've taught at super early, and I sit and I do my playlist. And I really think that it's important because I remember one of my favorite teachers early on when she was teaching, she played the same playlist for every single class. Yeah. And so then I would find myself, if I heard the song, I would feel myself in that position in class. And I'm like, I want to just have people enjoy it. Yeah. I'm like, I want people to enjoy music and I want it to be different. And I want it to be, of all ages. So like I throw in every kind of music you can imagine into my classes. And people are like, how did you go from 70s to like Ludacris to like Pitbull back to like, Ben Platt? It's like, I don't know, but I look at and I feel the music. I listen to, and I use an app, or not an app, a website that helps me figure out the beat per minute and the length of the song. And I'm just crazy about it because I feel like that is a piece of yoga, right? There's a piece of it or a piece of a practice that, having the music and having that drive. And when teaching and you get to the part and you're, doing something and you have them then go, inhale, star pose, and the freaking music changes.
Oh yeah. You're like, fuck yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah. It's like magic, you know, and you can feel it in the room, like, or when they're working really hard, they're holding a pose, they're holding plank, and you're like, I know this is hard, but the music is starting to crescendo up, and then that they're going to get a release in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. It's like when you can feel that energy in the room, there's something that kind of connects everyone together.
Yeah, it's the fourth dimension. It's that exchange of energy that you can't see, but people can feel it.
Yeah,
some people I think can notice it more, but yeah.
So as a long-term, like lifelong student, what are some of the favorite things about yoga teachers and your least favorite thing about yoga teachers that you've encountered?
I guess first off, my favorite yoga teachers are the ones that have the classes that I like. I love it when teachers teach inversions. I'm a big balance inversioner person. So I really love it when teachers do those. So you'll notice some do more than others, some don't do any. When I started doing yoga for solidly the first 5 years, there was always a teacher that was doing fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
My definition of fun. And now that I just don't have one in my life, and I really miss that. Like, let's do something, teach something that you don't know how to do. I love it when a teacher says, I can't do it, but hey, let's have Pete demo that.
That's my favorite.
Because so many of, I might be more advanced in inversions than you are.
Exactly.
And it's like, but I still want to do them,
Well, and that's the best part.
So that to me, and it's humbling for a teacher to do that. It's so not a big deal at all. And I think it's great. I love it. Yeah.
That's how I learned how to do a lot of poses was just by teaching others how to do it, breaking them down and learning how to like prep and preview and prepare the body for the pose, and then being able to like say, hey, I can't do this. I'm humbling myself to the point that I can't do this, but most of the things that I've taught, I've then been able to do on my own because I've taught it to someone else. Yeah.
I think that and I see this more when I'm moving around. Sorry, Adrienne, I'm bugging her to
no,
death
you're fine.
because I keep moving. That just some yoga teachers that are just not good, and that, I mean, that's hard to kind of judge, but just that kind of aren't paying attention to you. Nobody cares. I'll speak for myself. I don't care when a teacher gets a cue wrong or messes up their left and rights or forgets something.
Yeah.
But you just don't want them to kind of call in class. A lot of teachers, we do the same thing week after week but I love it when teachers call you out specifically. And now I'm a big extrovert. That doesn't bother me. I'm sure that would bother some people. And just like I mentioned earlier, somebody who kind of knows you and your body and what you're working on. And somebody, I love it when a teacher calls you out on your shit. You probably don't do that much, but like, come on, move. You know? I need that sometime.
No, I agree. I think that in the right spaces and places, like you just have to get to know your students. That's why I said like that one lady that came and was doing squats wrong. I was like, I'm not going to go over there and burst her bubble the first time she's in my class and make her feel like shit. I'm going to wait till she comes the next time. And then I'm going to look at her form in something else and offer a little tiny suggestion to make that pose or that exercise a little bit better in her body. Yeah. And that's because I want to take it slow. I want to dip my toe in the relationship to see how they're going to react.
And that's what makes what you do so good and effective is that, it's in the long haul game in the relationship building. Hopefully people have enough patience to kind of keep coming back and doing it.
Yeah. But it's up to them. It's not, that's one thing I will say is like, yes, I want to keep my classes on the schedule and I want to have good numbers and I want to have people have a great experience in class, but that's not the end all be all is to have great numbers in my classes. The end all be all is that, the people leave feeling better than when they came in and they feel stronger or more empowered or more connected with their body, or they had an aha moment in class that, they stayed for Shavasana. They had that drop in, right? Or like they tried crow pose or they tried an arm balance. Cause most of my classes that I still teach arm balances in every class in some way, shape, or form, not yoga with weights, but, mostly like flow classes or vinyasa classes where, to place in a special way your breath. I feel like it's really important to give people a little bit of fun playtime. I call it playtime.
Yeah.
It's like that exploration.
Yeah, I love playtime.
Yeah. To me, that was my favorite part about working in a studio in Chicago was like we were all really close, the teachers. And so, between classes after the studio closed or before it opened, we would have like these great little playtimes, like, hey, what are you working on this week? Well, I saw this transition online, or, I'm working on this with my students. And then we're in the 4th week of exploring crow and blah, blah, blah. And it's like having those moments of sharing and exploring like how to teach was so much fun.
And even as a student, I love when other students, like you pay attention to that too. I'll be like, he got crow for the. I know you've been working on that for a while, or I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
All right. What's your most embarrassing yoga student moment?
I don't know. I don't really get embarrassed that easily. I kind of don't give a fuck. But like queefing and stuff when you first start, and you want to be embarrassed, but now I have the strategy for like how that doesn't happen. Like,
what's the strategy?
Well, it's usually when you go upside down, and it was funny. I was like, I would only like queef after one side, not the other, or something. And it was so weird because we would do. It was in one of those formulaic classes that they did the same pose every time, so you knew what was coming. I don't know. I think I altered my breathing a little differently. But you know how we've been talking about how women's bodies just fucking change constantly, and we get the bad end of the deal like for our whole lives.
Exactly.
You're in a blip. Like now, I don't queef anymore. So I don't know.
I'm so glad you're not queefing anymore.
Yeah, but I know. Otherwise, not so much embarrassed about things.
All right. What about Oh, okay. Wait, I got to look at some of these questions because some of these are really funny. We just wrote out a bunch.
I was telling you earlier that we were kind of talking about this, and last week I was in a class. It was really hot. It was a Bikram class and a Bikram style class. Mm-hmm. And afterward, the teacher was coming around and kind of giving massages and rub downs, which I love. It's my most favorite thing. But then I was laying on my stomach. He was over my body, standing but bent over, and his hands were rubbing my back, and so much sweat is just pouring on me, coming off of him. And I don't care about stuff like that. Yeah. But even me, I was like, it's a little, I'm already wet, but it was just kind of like, I don't know about that.
It's kind of gross. Well, that's whenever I had to, give up hands-on assist to a man, I would always have a little towel tucked into my waistband, and I would lay it over their back.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Why is it okay for men to not wear shirts in yoga classes?
Oh, I know, right?
Women can't do it. Men should not be able to do it.
Well, they wear sports bras.
Men do?
Women.
Yeah, I know. Well, so then men should have to keep their boobs in too. I'm sorry. That is a pet peeve of mine.
I get it.
Or they sweat. One of the other nice things about clothes is it absorbs some of your sweat. It's like they have a fucking puddle on all sides of their mat.
I know.
I'm just kind of like, I don't want to have to look at your hairy ass, like sweaty boobs.
I know.
Sorry, that's really rude, but that's my truth.
It's okay. That's okay. All right. What about this? Have you ever noticed, or what's your inner monologue when the teacher, how like you're holding the pose and a teacher like gets distracted by one person and is like trying to help that one person and giving them like 3 or 4 cues, and you're like, we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still in this pose. We're all dying. What are you saying to what's your inner monologue?
Probably just like, come on, bitch, hurry this up.
Exactly.
But also, me, I'll just move on myself anyway.
Right.
I'll be like, you're taking too long.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. So does it annoy you guys, teachers, when people go a little bit ahead? Like, let's say, sometimes teachers' breathing might be a little too slow for me. So, and because I'm trying to match it up a lot, might be 1 second ahead of the flow. So to keep with my breath, I'll still go, but I might go 1 second before you're cueing. Yeah. Is that annoying?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does kind of annoy me personally. Yeah. And the only reason why is because my job is to set the pacing. Yeah. Right. So it's like, that's what I think my job is, right? Is to co-create an experience where others can alleviate their own suffering. Right. So like, if you're going quicker than me, how do you know that I'm not going to hold you?
I don't. And, then I just come back.
Yeah.
But no, that's good to know. I get it. I think and I don't do that as much as I used to because that is another thing I'm trying to learn. Like Sarah, stay for the whole time, you know, in this pose too.
Yeah. Because that's when the aha moments happen.
Oh, I know.
Because what I think about now, I don't think that it doesn't annoy me all the time, right? Like if I notice that someone is going faster, if they're going faster with purpose, then
is their breath purpose?
Yeah, like breath is purpose. But I also feel like sometimes it's the ones that rush ahead that aren't listening.
Me. It's like in impatience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it does kind of bother me sometimes.
No, that's good.
But I also am fine if you stay in a pose for a while.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Or I'm okay if you skip a pose completely. I'm also okay if you lay down in my class and sleep the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't care. I want you to get what you need out of this class. It's really not, it's not about me. That's what I always say. Like, it's not about me in that class. It is about you and what you're doing on your mat. I am just your tour guide.
Well, and I will say while you're asking me these epiphany questions is, and I hope this is okay. A lot of them have happened when I smoke weed and go to yoga.
Yeah.
Doing yoga high for me was a life-changing thing. And one of the things it allowed me to do was stay more present in my mind. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
And it allowed me just to kind of slow down and focus on actually what the cues were instead of what I'm thinking I look like or I did last weekend.
Right.
So
it calms you down.
Some of those epiphanies have come like when I was adjusting my hips, like I don't know, something in the side. And my brain zoned out because I was stoned, which felt great. And then I really zoned in on something and I was like, oh my God, that's what they've been talking about all this time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously, if you're a weed smoker and you haven't smoked weed and then do yoga, try it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and I think too, like if you're trying to just be present in the moment with your breath and your body and there's not a whole lot of judgment, that's the beauty of yoga.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you want, is you want to be present, focused. All right, I have another question for you.
Okay.
Do you ever secretly judge the person next to you for having better balance?
Yeah, I'm not judged, but I notice. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I used to judge more kind of in a comparable way, like stack myself up against those people.
Yeah, competitively.
But now I just notice more like that handstand is better than mine and you learn from it or you find it inspirational.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be like, God, jealousy would be like, like that bitch over there,
Yeah. Like, why is she so much better at this than me?
And then you kind of appreciate that now.
Yeah.
But
what about, do you ever notice when a teacher forgets one side of a pose? Mm-hmm. Does it drive you crazy?
No.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen. I mean, God, could you imagine me remembering a yoga sequence and be like,
It's really hard.
Well, it is hard. I'm not commenting on that. It bugs me when teachers forget what they're doing because they won't write it fucking down.
Oh.
They're like, I don't have to write my sequences down. But then they're like, what's next? That bothers me. It's like, just put the paper there if you need it.
And that's preparation.
Yeah.
You want your teacher to take time to prepare your class, not just show up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
I agree.
Or some people can just bullshit that stuff a lot better than others. I mean, you could totally kill a class right now if you said, get up and focus on hips. You'd be like, okay, done, Oh
yeah, but I'm a writer.
Yeah, but
like I need to
look it in the studio. Yeah.
No, but I keep it. No, I do. I keep my notebook. I keep it up on the counter.
Yeah.
And I don't look at it per se, but it's like a whoopee, like a safety security blanket.
Yeah.
It's like just in case
whoopee?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Have you never seen Mr. Mom? That movie with Michael Keaton back in the day.
I have.
He had a woobie.
We were talking
blanket.
about these, blankies. I'm like, what's the normal word? A blankie.
Like a security blanket, right? A woobie.
Oh, I don't remember that. Okay.
Yeah. My woobie, because Jaws, the vacuum cleaner in the movie.
Oh, God, yeah. That was a good movie.
I know. I love that movie.
I know.
You feeding that baby chili?
It's like our other favorite movie, Family, when she goes, chicken parmesan.
Exactly. You're going to give her the diabetes. That's it. If you haven't watched that movie, it's called Family. It's with Taylor Schilling. It's like our family favorite movie.
It's my favorite.
Oh shit, your grandma's here.
I know, but we overtalk it because then I feel people are always kind of let down when we're like, so did you love it?
Oh,
was
no.
it the best movie you've ever seen? They're like, it was fine.
Oh no, I've had everybody that I've had watch it has fallen in love with it too. But I think it's also like we're just weirdos like that. Well, do you have any questions for me? You had your notes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I asked that one. I mean, I asked what was your funniest moment in the yoga studio, but
funniest
okay,
moment.
I have a question. What is your favorite thing about me in yoga? No, I'm kidding. Like, what was your do you have a moment when you were just dying laughing, or when something silly happened, or something crazy, like had a heart attack in your class?
Oh my gosh. Well, no one's had a heart attack in my class. I think probably one of the funniest moments was when I was teaching a kids yoga class in elementary school, and we were in the gym, and this little girl had to go to the bathroom, but didn't tell us that she had to go to the bathroom, and then realized she had to go to the bathroom and peed on the yoga mat. Mm-hmm. And all the other kids were there. And
did they notice?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was like a a lake on the yoga mat. So then I was like worried about getting it on the wood floor of the gym. So I was like,
elementary school?
Yeah, because I was like, ew, it's
who knows
pee.
what happened on that floor? Gotta keep that super clean.
I don't know why I was so concerned, but I was like trying to take the yoga mat and like curl it up on all edges get the
Scoop
pee
it,
to stay in the center, and then like take it out and throw it away. They just threw the whole fucking mat away. I was
Did
like,
it just absorb?
No, it didn't. It just stayed like, it's like a rubber mat. So it just kind of stayed like, but it was like trying to, take water in a rubber container and try not to get it on anything or yourself.
Like, let's say that this happened when you were in like a regular studio, or if you're on a bus and you pee your pants and then you just get off. And I have never done this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make up things like when little kids do shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, people freak out about cleanliness. It's like you're probably sitting on a chair that somebody sharted in yesterday.
Exactly. Well, and I guess like funny moments in class.
Sharded.
Funny moments in class can also be like, I had a student that he likes to blindfold himself when he practices. And that's all fine and good. But when you're taking a class and it's full and he's blindfolded and he's moving, and I walk past him and he's moving to his own drum, like he's doing what he wants to do on his mat. He's not following what I'm doing, right? And so that's one thing. Like, I'm like, well, you do you, but do it safely. And there's been many times where he has kicked me or fallen over on me or fallen over on someone else. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, I get it. It's nice to feel like this, but know your surroundings. Like, kind of give yourself some more space, or don't do crazy shit that you feel like you're going to kick somebody.
Here's a pet peeve. When a teacher, somewhat recently, you're lined up like sardines because it's a really busy class, and then they go and have you do something that's totally like to the side.
Hate that.
Go throw your leg out. It's like, seriously?
I know.
Do we have to do that today, right now?
I know. Well, that's one thing, like room orientation, like moving the room around. Right? Like, I've got one teacher that
I like it when you move it around.
Yeah, I do too, because guess what? Everybody likes their little fucking space, right?
And it's good
Everybody,
to get out of your comfort zone.
It is. But like when people sequence not to the room or to the amount of students in the room, you need to be able to stick and move. Like, I'm sorry, if you're crowded like sardines lined up, you're not going to do full frog.
Right.
You're not going to have them face the side of the mat and do a hip opening on, with someone right there.
Yeah.
I do remember, so in Oak Park, when I would teach this one class that got really popular, it was like a Sunday morning class. It was like a church. We called it our church yoga class, right? Everybody came. It was super community. And it used to get so crowded, and we would do a wide-legged forward fold. And so we said, like, you got to do the Oak Park swoop. You got to take your head, instead of folding straight down the middle.
Yeah, I remember the Oak Park swoop.
Yeah, you had to like wrap your, you had to lean to the right so
avoid
that you
their
didn't
ass and put it in between.
Exactly, so that you wouldn't hit their butt on the way up or the way down. But that was like, we were close and we were, sardines in the room, but there was still the fun part of like sequencing, but still being able to not hit somebody in the tush.
Because I do like being close to people. Like, I like hearing people's breaths. I like that togetherness. But okay, here's one question for you.
Yes.
I'm reading it. What do teachers wish that students would do more of or less of?
Honestly,
just general, blanket.
Listen. Just listen. Listen to what we say and just be open. Right? Don't be so judgmental. Don't be up in your head. Like, that is one thing that I can see so much in class is like I said, those little thought character or cartoon bubbles over heads. I can literally tell
when people say, I'm not judging, but but you're about to exactly judge.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, I want you to think. That. I want you to think about it. Yeah. You know, I want you to just be present in the moment and not doubt yourself.
But that stuff, that comes, like I was saying earlier, the ability to do that comes with time when you feel really comfortable in a place.
Absolutely. So and that comes to the teacher.
And that comes from the teacher, Yeah,
the teacher, if the teacher comes in and the teacher's like I remember in Chicago, there's a few teachers that were super popular outside of where I worked, and they would do these crazy sequences that only they could do in their body. And then they would expect the students to do it. And the students were like, oh, I love her class. I'm like, why?
Why?
You couldn't do shit in her class or his class. I'm like, you were flailing around. Like when one thing that drives me crazy is people that get hurt in yoga. Like that is one of my biggest fears is I need to be able to triage the room to make sure that no one gets severely injured in my class, right?
Yeah. There's a lot on you guys for that, which I don't think a lot of teachers take nearly as seriously. Or they're just not as knowledgeable about it.
Right.
Okay, so last question. What's your favorite yoga pose?
Oh my gosh.
And for me, they change all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your favorite right now?
Like I used to hate fucking chair pose, and now I don't like it, but I can handle it. My favorite right now is still standing forward fold, or I'm really into eagle. I hated eagle forever. Now I like it again.
I mean, I've always been in love with handstands because I love that feeling of when you can hit a handstand and your body is completely aligned and you feel like you're just floating there for a moment. I love that.
I hate child's pose, and that's one I've consistently not liked. I just don't like it.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't know. I think it bugs me, and I don't like it. It's a stupid thing. Like how I don't like Nicole Kidman. You know, I don't. I don't like child's pose.
You don't like child's pose. No. Yeah. I mean, I think I like Shavasana a lot.
Yeah.
I really like Shavasana. I love when like a supported locust. So like if you're laying on your belly and you take 2 yoga blocks under your shoulders, like just in the front on like the side of the I call it the mama bear side of the block, right? And you rest your forehead down and you flip your palms open behind you and lay them down on the ground. So you're kind of slouching. Yeah. It just feels so good. I love that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I love wheel. I love wheel. It's an intense pose, but I love it. I like flowing camel, like instead of doing like it's just a big camel is like kind of reaching through one finger.
I like that a lot too. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about poses that you still haven't figured out in your body?
Geez. Okay. So forward, child's pose.
Yeah.
Child's pose, I feel I would love it if you cued to a child's pose teachers every once in a while, remembered, because there's so many options about where does your head go? Are you pulling? Are you pushing with your arms? Are you reaching? I really wish they could explain that one time more.
It's almost like child's pose is like a safety point where they just say, touch your big toes together, widen your knees, reach your arms forward. It's like, okay, that's the shape, right? So if I'm in that shape, now what? What do you want me to do in that shape?
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many. And what I love about the yoga practice is that there's so many different options. Like there's so many different options to do. If you don't like child's pose, there's a formula not a formula, but like a foundation of the pose, right? But then I can have you be in a different shape and still feel something similar.
Oh, for sure.
You know? So I think that's the beauty of it is like being the detective on the mat and saying like, ooh, she doesn't look comfortable in that. Right. So how do I make her feel comfortable in that pose? Or how do I help her kind of sink in or feel supported, right? Or feel successful or feel okay and grounded. But yeah, that was a good conversation.
Yeah, it was fun to talk to you.
I know.
It still feels weird, but
I know.
Yeah.
It's weird just because we're like sitting in front of microphones, but like overall conversations are the same that we always have.
They're usually much more highbrow. They're usually much more stupid than that.
They are
and
stupid.
We're like, what? What'd you say?
Exactly. Okay. I think we covered it all. We covered like, student-teacher relationships. We talked about, you know, what students find annoying, what teachers find annoying. We talked about queefing. We talked about all of the fun stuff. So I appreciate you, and I'm glad.
I love you, Boo Boo Bear.
I love you too.
And I'm so proud of you and me on the podcast. And
oh my gosh.
I know, it's crazy.
It's fun. We love it. We love talking to different people and exploring their yoga journeys and how yoga changed their life in some way, shape, or form. And I think the yoga brought you to me and me to you, and you know, our families are family, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, we're very, very grateful for our relationships. Especially.
And write a book. I'm trying to get Adrienne to write a book, guys. I think she knows this. We know this, but
I need to.
But yeah, you totally need to. It'll be killer.
I just need to write a book that is something that people will want to read. I don't know.
I know. I just feel like, you just have this, I don't know. You're my guru. I tell you this all the time. My personal guru. Whenever, especially stuff with yoga and body stuff, which I mentioned, but just in general, like, I'm always like, Adrienne, what do I say? How do I do this? What should I think through? How? Yeah. I'm always like, I gotta call Adrienne. Or when one of my daughters is having a meltdown, and I'm like, let's call Adrienne.
That's my favorite.
I tried that very recently, and Hannah wouldn't go for it anymore. She's like, no.
Oh no, she turned down a call to me.
Yeah, I should have just done it. I know.
Oh my God, my heart's broken. That makes me really sad.
I know.
She better still love me.
She does.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for talking with me, Sarah. And don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. If you want to have a chat with us, please reach out. You can find us online at Yoga Changed on Instagram or on the anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Share this episode with one of your besties from your yoga journey. And we will talk to you guys next week. Thanks so much.